Attention, ladies and gentlemen. We're now arriving in Detroit. Once again, this is Detroit Woodward Street Station. And thank you for riding Amtrak.
Okay. So welcome to the Wisendale Weekly Wrap-Up, where we talk about architecture, design, everything in between. Again, still in Detroit. Have here with me a special guest who's been at it for a while, as he says. So go ahead, you can introduce yourself.
I'm Adrian Tonon, City of Detroit, work out of the mayor's office. I am our 24-hour economy ambassador, the first ever in Detroit.
Nice. Explain a little bit more about that. What is that?
So what it is, I started off as the founding director of customer service for the city, come from hospitality. We've been in the music business for a long time here in the city. And as I was going through each department and working out of the Department of Neighborhoods, out of the mayor's office, all these creatives are in these offices. We're known for automotive. We're known for music. We have an automotive industry. We don't have a music industry, but tons of talent here, but we don't have the ecosystem. Right. 10 years ago, Make It in Detroit was moving to LA, right? Great to have a pipeline Detroit, LA, but we're really trying to build this ecosystem now. So early on, walking into these offices, working with all these different directors and individuals that are frontline gatekeepers in these offices, they would be like, I was a singer, I write plays, I do this, I do that. All these creatives that didn't really have the opportunity to be in the business because, again, we didn't have the ecosystem. Yeah. And I would say, well, how can we better, bring films to Detroit? So we'll bring films, we'll create an enticement program, but then we'll take and we'll measure the impact of the community. So we can give, producer, we can give you some discounts if you hire how many Detroiters, how many food trucks for craft services, how many, how much talent. So we started doing that, and then we started doing it with music festivals. And then the mayor brought on Rochelle Riley, who is our director of arts, culture, and entrepreneurship, who's just, I'm a huge fan of her.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have her on next time we come back.
She created the arts, culture, and entrepreneurship. Okay. And then nighttime economy is my role, to where it's businesses from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So to me, it's, of course, music venues and rooftops and everything that's really thriving right now during this pandemic. Of course, we're working on them with the health department, with DPD, with everyone to be responsible and to make sure that health and safety comes first. But also, people tell me, I walk in a room early on, they're like, oh, the party's not here. I'm like, you want to see a real 24-hour economy? Go to Henry Ford Hospital. When a doctor, a nurse, a janitor gets out at 5, 6 in the morning, is there a restaurant to go to? Is there a dry cleaner? Is there a grocery store? Those are jobs. Yeah. That's creating jobs in a time frame of what you don't know that you don't know. Yeah. So again, that's the shifts that people can have opportunity and create more jobs. Right?
Yeah, definitely. And the city did have, I mean, you covered a lot right there as far as the movie and just taking one example, the city did have tax incentives for like Hollywood to come in years ago, right? Or do they still have? We did.
No, we did. It's probably been about, I would say maybe about 10 years now that, we had incentives that were, really, really strong incentives. There was no ceiling on it. So Hollywood came in, they kind of, it was like, first of its kind. I think we're at like 42%, and a lot of people were selling credits on the dollar and doing all these different things. Yeah. And then we got a governor that was more of an accountant. That was his background. He's like, this doesn't make sense, and he tried to squash it a bit, but he was still going to allow it to to continue and just scale it back. And I think that there was some butting of heads, and then it got to the to the Senate, to the to the House, and they just it fell apart there. Gotcha. We're trying to bring it back. We created a Detroit DFI, Detroit Film Initiative, that's Detroit proper, that it's based on more discounts on services and things of that, but we don't have an actual Atlanta film incentive. Gotcha. We started the same year Atlanta did, and we just didn't continue. We needed to stay with it, but Michigan had other priorities, and I can't take away from the priorities. It wasn't just one person that said, "Oh, it's over." It was many lawmakers and policy leaders that felt like it wasn't for Michigan. Yeah. But I think we're working on things coming back, but we're working on a Detroit proper,
right?
And we're getting films here.
Yeah. And the Detroit Free Press Film Fest, I know is strong, and I see it getting stronger every year as well. And then for the music parts, how has obviously pre-COVID, how was it thriving, and did it obviously took a huge hit now, even for musicians to even practice or have a place to play, I think is huge. And how has that changed throughout the city?
So it's really, I say the last 4 months, what Detroit looks like. Who's been here.
Yeah.
Many of our, from being in the mayor's office to being in, protesting, because working with all the artists, like that's who's protesting, our thought leaders, our artists, and not always more. I've seen a lot of these individuals be more part of the peaceful process, and then say, hey, how do we have a seat at the table that we can make change rather than, work with you in a sense, still maintain our values as protesters or, whatever it may be, but how can we be part of the solution? We're seeing a lot of that, but with that, these individuals there is still a gig economy here. There are still events going on. There are still festivals going on, but they're very like it's a partnership, right? It's a partnership with the city, with the producers, and are you making sure everyone's wearing masks? Are you making sure that that everyone is temperature checks and all that, and everything's mostly outside. For now, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So artists are still getting paid.
Yeah.
There's big corporations that are stepping up saying, hey, we want to do this block party with you. We want to do this. We'll pay artists to come and be in our spaces, because where I go back to what Detroit looks like, it's 90%, we're an 82% black and brown city. Now, if you go downtown, it's 90% black. And this is our foundation. And these are a lot of, our residents that are like, we got our downtown to enjoy. We got our downtown back, and they are enjoying it. And I think through music and through art and through all these different spaces, things are starting to happen. And we need to create an ecosystem to capture that in order to really create sustainable jobs out of the creative economy, in order to say, hey, you guys are here. You guys are part of the pivot. And this is who we're going to build our foundation off of.
Right. And you were talking about space, like how that really affects the community in having a safe haven. Not necessarily a safe haven, just the way that space affects the community. Can you expand on that a little bit more?
I mean, to me, space is the convener, right? Space is the convener. I meet with a lot of, obviously venue owners, but also the curators and promoters, and I know it sounds kind of nerdy, but I'm just like, listen, it's not just about the party.
Yeah.
It's about how you bring people together, and like, what's the message when they walk out? Because again, you talk about displacement, you talk about all these different things. Who's here now? Like, you also have to play chess a little bit, right? You can't be wilding out, shooting in the middle of a crowd and doing all these things and expect people are going to be like, oh, that's who we're,
you know
what I'm saying?
Right.
Exactly. Like, or even you're part of the solution.
Yeah.
If you're shooting and you're pulling out the gun and spraying a crowd, like, that's not a culture anybody wants to be part of.
Right.
I feel, I don't know. I mean, in terms of the people that I talk to, even people that are in that lifestyle, that's not what it is. It's just part of. Sometimes people don't feel like they have a choice. That's what they've been. All they know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
right.
how do we take these spaces and be like, no, listen, man, or young man or young woman, there's opportunity for you to really channel your, what you know and what you do, and channel into a positive way that you could be the one that makes the difference and inspires so many people. And it starts in these spaces, and it starts at the party, because that's where people want to go. They want, especially now where with the pandemic, with social justice, with the hurt that people are feeling, people just want to escape and be able to listen to music and to see other people and to build community. So why don't we use it for a very positive way in order to actually make change in these spaces?
Have a lot of the spaces closed down due to the pandemic in the city?
So the bigger spaces have.
Oh, yeah.
The rooftops have maintained to stay open. Some of the more public space, parks and things like where people are convening and doing activations. Some of the block parties, like the thing with the pivot also is it's what you don't know that you don't know. Like all this public space that's like outdoor space that's been like you would have never knew it existed, right? It's just like these beautiful, you're like, where am I? Like who came up with this? This is crazy. This is, So like I don't think outdoors are ever going to be the same again, because people are just able to go into the unknown and create these really unique experiences. And it's been amazing to watch, and it's been led by Detroiters, And then again, those that have stepped up in the corporate world that have been here have also, some of them have created opportunities to say, hey, we got this beautiful space, like use it. Young man, young woman, if you can't see it, feel it, touch it, how can you dream it and be it?
Absolutely.
And that, I have to say that, some of our partners with the city and the private sector, whatever, have actually stepped up and really are part of the solution.
And is there still a lot of development on the other end, people closing down? Are a lot of people building, or how do you see that kind of happening?
Absolutely. But what's happening now is the development has slowed down in terms of people. It was happening so fast, and sometimes the intentionality was not there. I think that now the intentionality is there to say, one, with what's happening, globally with social justice in this iteration since, not since the civil rights movement, have we seen this. I mean, to be part of this and to be part of being an ally and being this is like, what? Like, to be part of this history now.
And being on the right side, as we were saying.
Being on the right side of history, right?
Yeah.
I feel that it's these new spaces. Like, we're having conversations now. We were before, but you're not going to displace that venue across the street that's been there 30 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Usually, before, a developer would come in and be like, "Oh yeah, this is new. We're going to fill it with new people," and you're like, "No, that the constituent, the venue, is you're the change agent.
Yeah.
So you're the agent. How can I say it?
Agent of change?
No, you're the one that's making change, right?
Yeah,
so in order to really, you got to adapt to what's already organically happening. So we're talking to developers. They're like, okay, this is the music, Greektown. This is about music. We're building residential. We'll gauge our windows. We'll put in our leases that if you're moving here, that this is kind of a, it's a lively entertainment district,
Yeah.
So now we're able to have these conversations. With our HRD department, Housing and Development, it's about making sure that spaces are, I don't want to just say affordable, because affordable sometimes doesn't equal to real affordability.
Yeah.
You still displace people.
Yeah.
But actually making sure that you have everybody that's being able to be included, whether it's subsidized, whether it's, government, whether it's some affordability, whether it's, then you have market rates. So you're putting everyone together rather than putting people in marginalized communities and expecting them to thrive.
Yeah.
That's just like, what?
Yeah.
Put people in a place where people are thriving and people have privilege and and I guarantee those people will step up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting to see the development and what's going on in the cities. The different neighborhoods within the city. Are there any, what would be the, I guess, hot neighborhood right now, or that's really seeing a lot of development or activity?
I mean, it's the neighborhoods that have existing, individuals there. I have a friend on 7 Mile, 7 Mile in, where is he? Trying to blank on the address right now. He's on the west side.
Okay.
And very black neighborhood, very people that have been the residents that have been there. And he's doing a little restaurant on his side lot, and it's like the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah.
And it's just like those are the neighborhoods. Like, he's gonna make his neighborhood this place of like. Detroiters are like, whoa, I got this restaurant down the street, and he's engaging all his neighbors, and he's making sure that they're on board, and that maybe they, in order to support that, they get a little incentive, and those are things that are happening. So it's some of those neighborhoods. Obviously you have Palmer Woods, you have the East Side, you have East English Village, you have where I live on 94 in Trumbull, where we're trying to build this 24-hour economy neighborhood. You have you have Art Park there, you have Marble Bar, you have Filthy Americans are going there, you have all these creative collectives that, I mean, I can go to bed on a Tuesday or on a Thursday and wake up Tuesday and the music's still the music's still going.
Yeah.
That's the neighborhood that it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then you got the Henry Ford Hospital, like I said, right there. So with that lively environment, they can attract a younger workforce that is that can grow with the hospital. That I'm in one place where the music to them is not. It's part of their the allure of them being in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So there's many different neighborhoods that are emerging out of this, but it's emerging more organically, and that's like the beauty of it. It's not this fabricated. It's got soul. You know what I mean? And that's what we have to really embrace, is that something happening organically has real soul. It's not like, oh, look at that cool space. Let's go build something there and fill it with all new people. And then you're like, why isn't it cool anymore? Because what I'm saying. That's what's happened in other places, and in gentrification and all these different things. Like, it's been done. Like, I don't want to do what's already been done. Like, again, let's do what we don't know that we don't know. And I think Detroit is, that's the kind of city this is. Roll up your sleeves and go into the unknown and be an innovator and be someone that is disrupting the norm.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the COVID and this pause that is happening, I feel like it flattens the playing field a little bit. Like there's a lot of opportunity to build. And as you said, the Detroiters that have been here, I think now the attention is really focused on them. Or the attention is higher, heightened.
I would like to think so.
Yeah.
I would like to think so. I think that's relentlessly what we eat, breathe, live, and sleep.
Yeah.
I believe that city government is not always right, but I feel that the administration that I'm part of, that I work with, 99 point. I'm going to put a percent on it, but really has. I'm proud of the people that I work with.
How long have you been in the position? Or?
We've 7 years. We've been in the administration.
Gotcha.
So I feel that the mayor has brought in some talent that really is not yes people. Yeah. Are not like if he says something and they're gonna either question it or they're gonna put in their what they feel. Yeah. And he embraces it. Yeah. He embraces it. He's it's always at the end of the day it's gonna be his decision, but at the end of the day as well, in terms of our CREO office, Civil Rights, Inclusion, and Opportunity Office, that's become the forefront. Opportunities, social justice, all these different things.
Is that how I get one of those lapel pins?
What's
those
that?
Are solid. I said, is that how I get one of those lapel pins? Is working for the city?
I'll show you how. Okay.
So I'm like, damn, I need to get one of those.
No, it's, you're here supporting the city. You're doing your
absolutely,
thing.
absolutely.
You're an official ambassador. We'll pin you right after this interview.
There
we'll
you
pin
go.
you on the interview. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, it's just as I was telling people before, I moved out of the city back in 2003. Went to school in Chicago and kept coming back. I always come back, but now that like my focus is in Detroit, like business wise, through Wise and L and all the other initiatives that we have, really taking the time to figure out what's happening and how the city is shaped, and it has been amazing to see the city transform throughout the music, whether it's the arts and culture. So I think you guys are doing a great job on that for sure.
You're only as good as your last performance, so
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Yeah. And all the music, like what's going on with Hart Plaza? Is Hart Plaza just sitting kind of dormant now, or how does that?
Residents are enjoying the riverfront. It's packed. Yeah. You have the river walk. You have it's packed.
Is that going to be extended? I think that is.
It is. It's going down to. There's the new park that's happening. It's like a marina, or it's a beach/park.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. It's where West Riverfront was, and that's going to be a whole new, development. Then you have Riverside Park, which is a skate park and overlooking the bridge, and really just beautiful. So outdoor public spaces. The mayor early on is he has his principles, and the waterfront is for everyone. It's not for developing condos, and even though we have a few from back in the day, it's just like our neighbors Windsor on the other side. It's all riverfront properties, all public space. Yeah. For everyone to enjoy.
Nice.
Which I think it's a beautiful philosophy.
Yeah.
But Hart Plaza right now, we're not, because of our governor's mandate, we're not able to program anything there, the bigger events. But you have Spirit Plaza, which is across the street, which is a plaza for the people, by the people. Yeah. So you have many.
And that just closed up, what, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Spirit Plaza?
Yeah, or
no,
like right.
It's been 3 years, but 2 years where it's been actually a site that is recognized as, and it's just been a great, it didn't come easy. Council really, questioned it in righteously, because, they're well thought out, and that's what they are, the accountability legislative arm, the accountability arm. But in the end, it all came together, and people use it, and, there's demonstrations, there's movie night, there's activations, and it's really great to see people enjoying that space in the middle of their city.
Yeah, that's great. And the city's built on a starburst pattern, right? Starting off of Campus Martius, is that the center?
Campus Martius is the center.
And then it kind of sprawls out.
Yeah, it's a spoke.
A spoke, gotcha.
Like a wheel.
Wheel and spoke thing. Yeah, I think people will find that interesting to hear about that for sure. Well, cool, man. Any other initiatives going on in the city that are going on right now or coming up in the future? Because this will probably come out in September, sometime mid-September.
Yeah, you know what? I think right now, in terms of my lane and working with Rochelle and working with, it's all tied together. I mean, we really focus on the creative community, but we also, I'm part of the Department of Neighborhoods, so it's, we have our DBLs, our business liaisons that are mini mayors within their, we have the Department of Neighborhoods, which we're part of, and the mayor set it up to where you have a district manager, a deputy district manager, and a business liaison, right? The business liaison is out of our Detroit Economic Growth and Development Corporation, so they have tools in their toolbox to help businesses. Then you have your district managers that are directly from the mayor's office that work with blight, work with the land bank, work with, getting families in homes, getting families, their properties cleaned up, helping people to thrive in their communities, and is a resource from the mayor's office in each district. So I think working with that team, it's, again, I'm very focused on creatives, but there's 12 sectors of creative, from music to film to crafts to architecture to...
so there's 12 sectors within the city? There's
12 sectors in the creative economy.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
It's all, think of, I naming them all right now, just,
but
those
right.
are, give you an idea, right, of that. So it's not just about music, and it's not just, but it's all connected. I mean, fashion is part of it. And
so there's one person per sector within the city?
There's one industry, there's 12 industries within the creative economy.
Gotcha.
As a philosophy, as a model, right?
Okay.
If you go to anyone from to art networks or whatever it may be, that's kind of the model of.
Okay.
It's not kind of. It is the model of the 12 sectors of creative economy.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
So again, that economy is all connected. I think our mission is to connect everybody. But if you're an artist here in the city of Detroit, how can you thrive, live, work, and play here? So let's take an artist that is say a Curtis Roach, right? This Curtis is one of my assistants. He just had the song during the pandemic, "Bored in the House." I don't know if you saw it, "Bored in the House."
Yeah.
And he had that in the can like 2 months before, and he pulled it out, and it went viral. It was such a sweet young man, such a good soul. But he's really, he was popping before, but that really put him on another level. So now he's making money, he's an influencer. So how do we take, and we want to scale this model, but how do we take him, get him paid all these, through all these different avenues, have a fashion line, have his music lane, have his influencer lane, and have all these things, then bring in mental health, where he's got insurance, or he's got some sort of something where he can be a sound citizen, where his mind is clear to be able to be an ambassador and also be a mentor to others. But then we have something right now in November, Proposal N, that we're bringing in, hopefully if it passes, $250 million for demolition. So no one should live in seeing a house across the street that's burnt down or whatever it may be. I mean, that's part of your mental health as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also there's something that the mayor came up with, that some of this money can go towards land bank houses, to where they fix the roof and the HVAC. So imagine an artist that's getting paid, that can now have some financing, that can buy a house that has a roof and has an HVAC. Creatives can go into space and make things out of nothing. Imagine having a house. Now you own your mud. You own your, now you have that advantage of creating generational wealth, of having equity. That's the game changer to me, is that if you can go to LA and have the pipeline, you're never going to buy a house in LA and California. It's just too, you know what I'm saying? Here in Detroit, if the
foundation isn't there, right?
Exactly. Yeah. If an artist moves here, an artist has an opportunity to buy a house, have a family here, hopefully have tons of venues to be able to work and go on tour, and then we bring the ecosystem here, but we still have that relationship with the business side of LA. The weather's nice there too. I like to go and and have meetings there as well. I mean, who doesn't, But again, having
is that like the bridge. Is that like the bigger? Sorry, not to cut you off, but is that like the bigger vision? Is to really create that full ecosystem where an artist comes here, can plant the foundation, have the family here, and create that generational wealth?
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. That's the mission. That's the dream. That's what every day we look relentlessly. What can we do to be intentional about making sure that at least we do our best to make that happen.
Yeah.
Nothing's guaranteed, but I'll tell you the individuals that I'm around that are on this mission are relentless. Whether it's the artists.
It sounds like a huge mission.
Yeah, it is, but it's just we've been in the music industry here in the city for a long time. That it's just that's the time that's making real change. And that's if you have these artists that have these huge platforms to be able to be change agents and our thought leaders and our people that can other young men and women of color can look at and say, I want to be like them.
Yeah.
Like that, like right there, that's like changing shifting the whole mindset of actually and then you also give kids something to do that they're not out like robbing and stealing. Like people don't rob and steal because they're just like, oh, that's what I'm gonna. It's out of desperation. It's out of these different things. I was in a young man that we were mentoring. Where you been for 6 months? He's in the studio. He's a sweet little kid. Gets in the booth and he's just a monster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he comes out and he's in like, what? Where you been for 6 months? He's like, oh man, I was locked up. What do you mean you were locked up? He's like, man, me and my brother we had to eat, and we went to someone's house, stole this and that. My brother got caught. I went home, and my mom says he got caught with something that didn't get caught on the spot.
Yeah.
Someone had to turn themselves in because somehow they knew it was the two brothers. He says, my mom said my brother can't take it. I had to go do it. So I stepped up. He goes, man, if I were in the studio, though, I wouldn't be doing that. Yeah. And that was, to me, that's just like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like 100%. Like you're such a good kid, but you're put in these circumstances of marginalization, of desperation. How do you expect to thrive? How does anyone expect you to thrive? So again, I think that the creative economy, the music economy, can allow people to follow their dreams and their true passions and what their purpose is in life, and make an incredible living and build this generational wealth.
Nice. And can't say much to that. I mean, how do people sign up, or how do people reach out, or
you know what?
Or, how do you do the grants?
It's just no. It's more just creating awareness. A lot of people don't know that there are these programs. Even like I said, with mental health, people don't know that there are a lot of different avenues that you can pursue mental health in the city. But now they're starting to. People are putting up billboards, and they're putting up creating more awareness. The city is creating awareness. The private sector, nonprofit. All these different individuals are really you got to be intentional. That's the thing. You got to be intentional, and you got to be unified. Because what happens is, I see a lot of people, oh, this doesn't exist and this doesn't exist, and they're just not informed about it. And it's not their fault, but then you make sure they're informed. And that's the thing, going back to the spaces. Is that these spaces are conveners that can get this information out. It's not just about the party. It's about you're bringing a bunch of people together, create awareness of the tools that they have in order to live quality of life and help others to live quality of life.
Yeah. And that information, and you don't know what you don't know. And I think you said that before. Is there obviously a huge election coming up in November? Are there movements or initiatives to get more younger people to vote going on right now?
There are. I'm. There's a lot of talk. Obviously, we're at a place where we'll watch CNN. We'll watch, different, different shows, different talk shows.
News outlets.
Yeah, exactly. That bring awareness to what's going on. I think a lot of people too, younger generation, could be in their bubble in a sense.
Yeah.
But I've seen from my friends and my close friends that protest, and I think people are going to step up and vote. I hope so. I feel that it's everyone's responsibility. A lot of people feel that it's not going to make the change, that disruption is going to make the change. But being in government and being in the private sector, I feel that as long as the people come first, that's the opportunity to make change. You need a seat at the table. Yeah. I see people with a seat at the table that have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and that's what, even with the mayor, some of his hiring has been purposely for that, is that you have real community people that are not going to be yes people. They're going to be people, citizens, residents first. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you have like-minded people, and even optically, you have a president that's going to make his administration look like the UN, it's going to optically just inspire people to be like, and
Yeah.
for those people to choose other people, and having a seat at the table is where you can make a difference. You have to have a seat. If you don't have a seat at the table, it's harder to make a difference. So again, it's everyone coming together. We still are in this pandemic. We still are in this crisis. Who are you during the crisis? Of course, but who are you after the crisis? Don't forget people coming together. Don't forget that we all went through this together. And we have to unify in order to truly make this change and to be on the right side of history.
Nice. Dude, a lot, Adrian. There's a lot. Thank you so much for the time, man.
No, it's so cool that you're here
for the
doing
quick
this,
conversation. Where can people follow you or get a hold of you?
My person at Adrian Tonon is my Instagram.
Okay.
ADrianTonon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool, man. Well, thank you. Really quick conversation,
course,
and I look forward to talking again.
Yeah. Peace, but don't cut yet. 1 second. 1 second.
You're gonna fit it?
Here we go.
Oh, Lord.
Here we go.
AJ's taking off his pen right now. For those of you listening via podcast, do you put it on the tee?
I mean, where do you?
Yeah.
Is that where
Yeah.
Let me just right here.
Nice, getting my own Spirit of Detroit pen.
And these ones are like, you gotta really. These aren't just available. There it is.
Perfect, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.